And we're live.
Just double checking.
We are live.
Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon, y'all. Hope y'all having a wonderful day today.
I don't even have to look at what the date is because I had to take Mary Carl to the orthodontist today,
So what is it?
September the 10th at 4 o'clock
September the 10th.
and Alabama time.
Alabama time. Central time.
That's right. That's right.
Central time.
Oh, what's going on today?
Well, I guess we're starting to get a lot of questions. I've already seen them on here too. Emails and stuff. And the main concern is Hurricane Francine.
You forgot, didn't you?
I was going to say Francis, but it's Francine.
She can be Francis after she passes through Alabama.
So, yeah. As of right now, Francine is going to go east of us. It looks like it's
Francine going west of us.
West of us. We kept saying it's moving more east. That's
Yeah.
why. Going west of us, it looks like Louisiana and Mississippi are the direct hit right now, and they're predicting a category 1
or 2
or possibly 2. So fingers crossed it's not that bad and everybody stays safe. A lot of people are wanting to know about the event on Saturday. As of right now, everything is to go, and it looks like we're just going to get a bunch of rain on Wednesday, right?
Thursday.
Or is it Thursday?
Thursday's our rain day.
Thursday.
It's going to start tomorrow, but Thursday it's going to rain all day and have some winds around 35, 40 miles an hour.
So it should be gone and everything should be ready for Saturday, which they're only showing a slight chance of rain as of right now on Saturday with high about 85. So that's what we know right now. And this is the path that they're showing right now.
It has continued to shift a little bit more east every time they update. But we're not
I think we're going to be okay.
That's the bottom line. Is we think we're going to be okay. I
think we're going to be
we're not
just
weather
fine.
Predictors.
No.
So all we can do is pass along what we can see.
Exactly.
And you guys can see the same thing we do.
Yes. So. Right. So I hope that, I know that don't clear everything up, but that's what we know, and hope that does answer some questions. Now, if it stays like this, we're going to get a good bit of rain, and which would be perfect. We do need the rain.
Yeah, they say the east side of a hurricane gets the most rain,
right?
The most potential threat for tornadoes, which we are an isolated risk. But the main thing is we are prepared.
Yep.
We know it's coming.
That's right.
When these springtime tornadoes pop up, you have no idea that something's on the way. Even.
Right.
Sometimes it can just happen like that.
That's right.
We are prepared, and we hope everybody in its path will do just that.
Yep. Exactly. So that is that.
As we, if we were to find out anything that changes, we'll of course update you.
Yes.
But this will be our last live before the event.
That's right.
Because the event's on Saturday morning.
It's on Saturday, so we won't have a live on Saturday.
That's right. We'll have to drink our coffee without you guys.
You'll miss y'all. Maybe, but you know what? There's going to be a lot of them that watch the live that will be there on Saturday.
That's right. That's right.
So we can't wait to meet y'all.
I've got some emails from North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. I got North
Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the furthest away, and those people are driving in and just wanted to, they want to make sure everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So right now it's okay, but can't speak for what your travel's going to be like.
That's right.
I hate the storm is coming in this weekend. I know everybody does,
mm-hmm.
but it could be worse. If it were to slow down a little bit, we'd be into Saturday getting an all day gully washer, as they speak. But it's moving pretty fast.
It is moving pretty fast. Matter of fact, I didn't know it was that close until I looked just now. That thing's moving.
The winds are 90 miles an hour right now, and they anticipate it speeding up a little bit. So a lot could happen in the amount of time it takes to hit land.
Yeah, I want to tell you about a new scam that I heard about.
What's that?
And this one's clever, and I thought it might be best to bring this up. because we see scams all the time. I got our social media is about as scam proof as I possibly can get. I still have imposters out there, and I got ways that I can get them taken down, but it's not super fast. Usually 12 to 24 hours. There's some tricks I can do, but there's a new one out there, and this is how it works. It comes in the mail. It
From
comes
the post office?
Comes from the post office in the mail, y'all. I haven't seen it, but I saw it. I saw somebody talking about it. It's the latest thing, and it says that you've won something or you got something, and they want you to scan the QR code on the piece of mail piece you got. And they said once you scan the QR code, and if you don't know what that is, then you don't have to worry about the scam. But the QR code is like a barcode, but it's like a new.
Counts me out because I don't know how to do it without help.
It's like a new barcode.
Yeah.
You know, the new, and you scan it with your phone, with your camera, and it takes you somewhere. And so that's what happens is once you scan this code, and then they get all the information off your phone.
Oh my gosh.
And it comes in the mail, so that's why they were trying to get it out there, because they haven't seen a mail scam like this. So I wanted to get it out there just in case, because we love you guys. Yeah.
That's not good.
No, not good at all.
That's not good. But that just clears me right on up, because anytime I have to use a QR code, I have to have help. And my help would tell me, you don't probably need to be scanning this.
That's right. That's right.
But that doesn't eliminate all of y'all. So just know that is something out there that could potentially harm you.
That's right.
These clever thieves.
They just getting.
I tell you, it just makes me.
Yeah, it does. It does. I tell y'all. So what I do is that when they started popping up on our social media sites, Facebook and YouTube were the two main ones. Facebook being the worst, terrible on Facebook. YouTube kind of does a better job, but I look for keywords that they like to use. You know, winner, won, you won this or whatever. So I block those certain words.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, ma'am. But
would you like
looking beautiful?
Yeah,
today.
Or would you like to be my friend? Those kind of things. And so you can, on the back end, we can actually set up words that can be blocked. And so that's what I've gone through. My block list is pretty big. And I know it will probably hide some legit comments that some of you guys put out there, but it's for everybody's safety anyway. So I don't want anybody to get scammed at all.
Scamming is not something nice to do.
Somebody wanted to know, we should get a generator. We have one.
Oh, we have a whole house generator, and we are so thankful that we bought it.
Yep.
First, we had a little portable one that we used to use at the old house, and we did use it a few times. But when we built this house, Jason's daddy, being an electrician, offered it to us.
That's right.
He had actually had an extra one that was supposed to go in somebody's home, and that person didn't purchase it.
What happened was it was during COVID, and they were on, the generators were on this major back order, and it took him like 15 months to get it.
So by the time it got there, the customer didn't want it anymore.
They didn't want it anymore, and he offered it to us, and we jumped on it.
Yeah, so we purchased the generator from him, and that crew installed it, and it runs its little check every so often. I don't know how often it is, but it scares me every time it does it.
It does run the check, and it runs off gas. Somebody asked us
propane.
Propane. Yeah. It
runs off propane, and you'll hear that thing kick in, and you're like, "What is that? Somebody's back there running something." But it takes it 15 seconds or so to kick on, maybe longer than that.
And it's pretty quick.
But I tell you, it's hard for us to know when we don't have power. Sometimes your power will click and then it comes back home, and that's the way it is, because it comes back on with a generator.
Thinking about it, I can only count 2 times that it has came on because we lost power.
Yeah, one time was that night that Catherine called and said there's a tornado right down the road.
Yes.
It destroyed Roger Bean's barn.
Yes.
And the other time, I don't remember.
I can't remember I just remember when it came on. And it is a Generac. Somebody said they love their Generac.
Generac generator. We're not sponsored by them by all
Mm-mm.
means. We paid full price just like everybody else.
We did.
But we're glad we paid full price. And another thing we're glad we have
What's
is
that?
a storm
Oh
shelter.
yeah, we got our
Safety shelter.
safety shelter, storm shelter. I don't know what they're called now. Is it safety shelter? Is what they call them now?
Safety shelter. And
Mhm.
lo and behold, we've been in that thing a few times, and it's just peace of mind.
It is.
If you get out and your house is still there, you still got a smile on your face, because if it was gone, you would have saved your own life.
That's right.
And living in Alabama, I don't know how it's like the rest of the United States. Can't speak for them, but we feel like we are just very vulnerable here when it comes to tornadoes.
Yep.
There's been a lot of storms that have taken place that we want to be protected. We have to load all the dogs up and all the birds up and all the pigeons that are in Maycraw's room, Fina and whatever that other thing's name is. I can't remember.
Willard.
Well, it's female. So Wilhelmina. No?
Mm-mm.
What is it?
I've been calling it Wilma since it is a female.
Fina, who is Maycraw's pet pigeon, lays eggs. And Fina would sit on those eggs because, you know, that's what her body tells her to do, even though she doesn't have a mate. And this went on for 4 sets of eggs or so, her laying 2 eggs at a time. Finally, Maycraw felt sorry for her, so she got an egg from outside, which she knew was fertile from a set of her pigeons, and let Fina sit on it and hatch a baby.
Yep.
And so now Fina has a friend, which we had DNA tested to find out it's a female too. Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Because, you know, this will be the end. Although she did tell me she might let Fina have one more baby.
Oh, goodness.
But it's not really hers.
Oh,
somebody else's baby. So I don't know how we got on the subject of that, but
I don't know either.
We went from a storm shelter to Fina. Fina hatching a baby. It's not hers, but she really likes it.
Oh, goodness.
And it's better because that means that every time we go somewhere, Fina doesn't have to go. Because Fina has a friend. Fina can stay here and stay with her friend and be occupied.
Thank goodness.
We are no longer checking states off Fina's list.
Fina's been to several states.
She has. Like 5 or 6, I think.
Oh, goodness. Oh, Fina.
Fina's vacation has ended.
Fina's probably pretty happy too that it has. She probably
would rather stay here.
Stay here.
That pigeon's name, I saw a check because I had to write another check today to get my sunglasses sent off and fixed. The last check I wrote, I let Mary Carl write the checks out because I feel like it's just something a child needs to know how to do. And she's been doing it since she was 10 years old.
She knows how to write a check.
She knows how to write a check. So the last check that was written was for the DNA test for that bird.
Yeah.
Got the checkbook out. I went to write on the back, you know, I write the check number and who it was to so I can keep up with it, our finances. And the check number before was for Willard.
I told you.
That's what its name was until it came back a girl. She thought it was a boy.
Oh, man.
And it was Willard. And that's what she wrote on my pay 2. Not avian genetics, but Willard. She knew I would know what that was for. Goodness gracious.
Goodness. Oh, my gracious.
So, were you fixing to say something?
Mm-mm.
So Mary Carl had an orthodontics appointment today, and we had to go over to Montgomery, Alabama, which is closer than going to Selma, which is where they have several locations. Long story short, we went to Montgomery. And she's on the short run for her braces.
Oh, she's getting down to nitty-gritty.
So if y'all remember, 2 years ago, Thanksgiving is when she got them put on. The goal was 2 years. And that would mean this November, this Thanksgiving, she'd get them off. So I asked Dr. Jeremy today, I said, how close are we to being on track? And he said, we're pretty close. He said, your next checkup, which will be in 6 weeks, which is the end of October, we're going to put the final wire on. And that'll be the last wire that she ever has.
We're going to celebrate.
With her braces. And he said at the latest December before they come off.
We're going to celebrate.
And she was so excited. She said the first thing she's going to eat is that bubble tape. You know, it comes on a roll. That pink bubble gum. That's what she's been missing. She has not had a piece of gum, not sugar-free, not anything since she got her braces on. Here's the very thing that I'm most proud of. When we go to the orthodontist, I go in the back with her. And I always ask her, do you want me to stay up here? Or do you want me to go in the back with you? And she says, I don't care. You can come back here if you want to. So they got benches where you can sit behind them. And I always like to talk to the doctor and see what's going on. Well, most of these kids there drove themselves. So they don't have a parent with them. But every single time, somebody has something broken. Mm-hmm. Whether it be a bracket or their wire, something broke. And they told us when we purchased these braces that they give you like one free replacement every 6 months or something. After that, you have to pay for it.
Right.
She's never broken not one piece.
Really?
I shouldn't have said that.
We get credit for that if she don't break it?
I don't know. But she's never broken the first bracket. And we can't figure out what these kids do. I say kids, there's some adults too, to break these braces.
They probably eat something hard.
Well, I mean, she's really been mature about not doing anything wrong. I mean, she doesn't eat gobstoppers or taffy or
no, she don't.
She does the right way.
She don't. And that's golly. So she's had her braces how long?
The October will be 2 years. And let me tell y'all, she won't come on camera, but her teeth are perfect.
Good.
And they were a mess.
They were a mess.
They were a mess before.
They were a mess.
And she didn't care if she got braces. She liked her teeth the way they were.
Yeah.
And I know now that I appreciate the fact that my parents put braces on me because my teeth were a mess.
Yeah.
But I did care. Too. I did care at the time. I was very thankful that I was fortunate enough for them to put braces on me because my teeth were so bad.
I don't remember. Mine wasn't. I had a big I was buck tooth. Is that what you call it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the slang for it. It's an overbite, I think.
I had a big overbite when I was a kid. And I started wearing a headgear, that old timey headgear. Y'all know what I'm talking about, with that thing when you had the strap on your head and it went in your mouth like that. I wore that from 4th grade to 7th grade. 6th grade, I got braces.
6th grade?
And I didn't get my braces off until my senior year.
Oh, my gracious.
So from 4th grade to my senior year, I had something going on because of my overbite. So
I told y'all my mouth was a mess. I had 2 teeth that came over the top of these. They were like fangs. Mm-hmm. And they overlapped these teeth. So I had to have those cut out, those 2. Then I had 2 in the back that had to be pulled because I didn't have enough space. Then I had to have all 4 wisdom teeth cut out, but that was after the braces. And my jaw was not wide enough. It was too narrow. So in order to make it wider, they offered to do a surgical procedure, which fixed it like that by breaking your jaw and basically reconforming it. Or you could wear this device in your mouth that my parents had to turn a key every night. They turned that key, and y'all, that thing was not comfortable. It was not comfortable at all. Went across the roof of my mouth, so my tongue could not go past the flat part of your teeth.
Right.
It was blocking. And I would have to lay back on the couch, and they would get in there with that key and turn it, and it hurt every single day. I don't know how long I wore that thing. But after I got that off, I got braces in 7th grade, and I didn't get them off until right before my senior pictures. So 5 years is what I wore them.
5 years. I had them 6 years, and in that whole little. Do they still, the kids to this day have that? They still do that?
I have no idea.
Headgear.
I will have to ask Dr. Jeremy if that's still a thing.
Did they still do the headgear? To me, it seemed like. I mean, there's even I remember a 80s sitcom, and one of the kids, I can't remember, it was Family Ties or one of them, I can't remember. And one of the boys, he had it, and he wore it all the time. And I was supposed to wear mine all the time, but I wasn't wearing that thing. I wasn't wearing it. You crazy?
Not wearing it all the time.
Would you go to school with it?
Your daughter would. She's very disciplined.
She probably would. I wouldn't know.
She does the right thing. I tell you, I don't know where she came from.
I wore it when I sleep, and you would sneak and take it off. Take it because it pulled your lips open like this, because you had a piece of metal going in your mouth like this.
She has to wear rubber bands, and she's back to rubber bands.
Is she? On
both sides all the time. The last time she wore rubber bands, it was on one side, and it was just at night. This time it's different teeth, and it's 24/7. And I mean, she does what she's supposed to. So I don't have to remind her, and I'm thankful for that. Don't have to remind her.
That's right. She does do well her teeth, so that's good.
She does. And she hasn't told me lately that
her mouth hurts.
Well, besides that, but she hasn't told me lately that she wished her teeth were back crooked. I mean, so I think she's glad she got them fixed. I think so.
Somebody said that they don't do it, and Catherine said it too, that they don't think they do the
headgear anymore. It's so much more advanced than it was when we were there. It just amazes me.
Yeah.
But Dr. Jeremy and I were talking about the rain coming in, and the teasing temperatures last week or week before.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, tell me about it. He said, I was out walking my dog, and the temperatures were lower, and I was so appreciating it. He said, and it made me want to go walk the dog. And I said, yeah. I said, it's bad because we have a farm, and we have to take care of the animals, whether it's hot or cold. And he said, really? What kind of crops do you have? And I said, well, we don't really have any crops. We have a menagerie of animals.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, what do you do with them? And I said, and I could see Mary Carl sitting in that chair, and she was probably going like this.
Don't tell him we got a YouTube.
Don't tell him.
Don't tell him we got a YouTube channel.
And I thought, how am I supposed to handle this? Because I'm just not one that wants to go out, and I don't want to be boastful, if that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, I'm proud of our channel. I don't mean to be that way, but I'm just not a bragger, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I said, we have a YouTube channel. And I kind of ended it at that. I kind of hung my head, and he was like, oh, really? What's it called? And I said, Cog Hill Farm. And he said, spell that for me. And I spelled it for him. Next thing I know, he said, I'm going to look this up. And he took off.
Oh my, did he ever come back?
He didn't come back.
Maybe he was
still be watching.
Maybe he's watching videos.
He might be watching this live.
Oh man,
but
that's so
funny how things happen.
Oh, isn't it though? Oh my gracious, that's hilarious.
It is hilarious. So we might have a more close-knit conversation the next time I go. He might say, how's Nugget doing? And does Tip need some braces? Or, who knows?
Oh.
Possibilities are endless.
Do they got a TV in the waiting room?
Don't
know. Been saving.
I've never paid any attention.
Maybe they'd have Cog Hill Farm going in the waiting room.
Well, you have to talk to Dr. Wood about that. He's the owner. He actually lives in Selma.
Oh, goodness. That's funny.
So, yeah.
That is funny.
It is funny how the conversation twisted from weather to YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly wasn't meaning for it to go there. Because I know Mary Carl, and I know she wants me to keep my zipper closed.
It used to be extremely awkward. I don't know how long it was till I finally got comfortable when somebody asked, what do you do for a living?
Mm-hmm.
And we do YouTube.
Yeah.
And you ought to see.
I'm always hesitant to
no matter. I say that. It seems you tell somebody now, for the most part, they understand it. Right. They're like, oh, really? That's great. But, a couple of years ago, they look at you with their head crooked.
Yeah.
Like, what in the world?
So on Orthodontics days, our trend is to go to the Olive Garden to eat lunch. Mm-hmm. And that's, it's once every 6 weeks. So Mary Carl's favorite place to eat, and I don't really know why, but she loves the salad and she looks forward to it. So that's what we do. So we leave Montgomery and we go to Prattville, so we'll be closer to home, so I can get home by 4 o'clock to be on the live. Go to Prattville to eat, walk up to the desk, and she says, she's looking at me like, kind of a smirk, and I didn't think anything. And she says, I said, it's going to be 2 of us. And she said, you look so familiar. And I could just see Mary Carl out of the corner of my eye. And I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And I said, really?
Yeah.
I said, where do you think you know me from? And she said, did you used to go to the Golden Ranch? And I said, oh, thank you. Yes, we used to live in Selma. That was a restaurant there. And she used to be a host at the Golden Ranch. And she recognized us from there. We got to the table and Mary Carl said, I just knew it was from the YouTube channel. I didn't tell her about the YouTube channel. No need to.
The Golden Ranch was a barbecue restaurant in our old hometown that we frequent.
And I must say, I didn't recognize her from there.
Huh.
So I must be very distinct looking.
Must be.
For her to have.
It's because you're so beautiful.
Oh, Jason. Tell them about the YouTube channel. It's going to get you off the subject.
Oh, I saw some people asking about, have you heard anything about the fire? And we haven't.
Nope.
You've made some phone calls and have not heard anything about the fire.
So I have asked for a report, for an investigative report, and there has been no follow-up with me about getting me a report. I reached out to the volunteer fire department that serviced that area. They told me I would need to contact the city of Selma, which I did, and the city of Selma just won't get back with me. So
that's where we stand on that right there. I also saw some people asking, did I know that you was spying on me?
Me?
Yeah. Caught me dancing in the barn.
Oh.
No, I did not know Brooke was spying on me. She caught me. That
music was playing, and I thought to myself, he knows I'm out here recording. But yeah, he knew I was recording out in the field, and he didn't know I was going to come in the barn. But I couldn't help myself but hit record one more time when I heard the music and I saw Jason. So y'all got a little glimpse of what his mind goes through when music comes on.
Music's a big part of my day, of my life. I either got when I'm by myself and not recording, they got my earpods in.
Yeah, I about ran over him yesterday. We hadn't talked about that, by the way. I just about ran over him.
Oh me!
I had some wood that I had picked up in the back of the truck, and I needed to take it to the barn. Jason was weed eating.
I had my headphones on.
You had headphones on.
Not my earpods.
I figured you had earpods and headphones.
No, those headphones have sound cancellation in it, and you really can't hear anything, especially when you got music going.
So I saw him weed eating, and I stopped in the middle of the driveway, and he's weed eating away, and he turned like this, and I thought he saw me. So I start going again, and about that time he steps out in front of the truck, and y'all, I'm here to tell you, I don't know who it scared more.
It scared me pretty good.
We didn't talk about it afterwards because he carried on weed eating, and I carried on getting the wood out of the truck.
It scared me pretty good.
It should have.
It scared me pretty good.
It should have. But who was to think traffic was going to be coming down that road?
I know it. And I tell you what, I'm got a bad habit of doing too. And if me and Mary crawl, almost every time, if it's just me and her and we leave, I always tell her this. Now, where we live, it's rural. We in the country. And there's a double yellow line on our road.
Right.
And so almost 90% of the time when we leave, we take a right.
Yeah.
And so I always look left. And I begin to take a right before
you look right.
Before I look right. And I've seen, not many, but I have seen a person pass.
On that double yellow line.
On that double yellow line. And so I have to tell myself when I stop, look both ways before you start turning out that driveway. And I tell Mary Carl that every time we leave.
Well, I tell you, if you're driving the truck and you turn right, you really better look because the truck's so big that it almost takes part of that oncoming traffic lane.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be careful there too.
I can just see somebody passing somebody because they in a hurry. They got to get somewhere pretty fast on that double yellow line, and us pulling out the driveway.
It almost
that would be bad.
Happens to me probably 50% of the time when I turn on our county road, which is double yellow line, that I don't go very fast because we're not very far down the road.
We're fixing to turn.
So you don't create much speed, but about 50% of the time, somebody passes me on that double yellow line because they just can't wait.
And we could be turning out of our driveway.
That's right
there.
They just can't wait.
So I always try to remember to tell Mary Carl that all the time. But what y'all saw with Holly, who stands right there, lays right there beside me, is pretty accurate.
Of her.
Or just the music playing and me cleaning.
When you were dancing.
Yeah, that's fairly accurate right there.
Yeah.
Just don't catch me singing.
Well,
just don't catch.
I
take that back. I don't sing. I sang. Don't catch me singing.
Singing. Yeah. Okay.
That's a wordsmith for you right there.
Okay.
There's a difference between singing and singing. It's like wrestling.
Wrestling?
There's a difference between wrestling and wrestling. Wrestling is what's in the Olympics. Wrestling is, I was going to say WWF, but that's not right.
WWE.
WWE. That's wrestling.
Okay.
So singing and singing, that's, I'm a singer.
Well, enough about the singing. We did run in TJ Maxx real quick. Y'all know that's my favorite store. And my sidekick usually didn't want to go in there. However, today she wanted to.
She must have wanted something.
She had something in mind that she needed. And y'all, this child would rather buy stuff at a thrift store.
She would.
Than name brand stuff all day long. And that being said, I think that's probably why she wanted to go to TJ Maxx. She knows in her mind it's a cheaper version of whatever she could get at a department store.
Yeah.
And she needed some undergarments. They have a wide selection in TJ Maxx.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean to interrupt you, but I would be willing to bet $100 crisp $100 bill. Mary Carl could not tell you 5 name brand pieces of clothing.
No, she couldn't. She couldn't. The only reason she would know it is because it came from TJ Maxx.
She has no care in the world about it.
She didn't care. And I did at that age. Yeah. I wanted name brand everything.
Mm-hmm.
A Coca-Cola shirt, or a polo shirt, or, duck head.
Mm-hmm.
It needed to have that patch on the back of it. She would be like my daddy. My daddy would buy the name brand and take the patch off.
I had a friend of mine that his dad did that. Even remember when Eastlands were big?
Yeah, took the thing off.
He cut it off the shoes right there. Eastlands. Y'all remember those shoes? Eastlands, were they popular? They were popular here.
Yeah.
Had the Eastland knot. Remember it?
Yep.
The little Eastland knot that went on the side of it.
Well, you did that to your yellow bean boots too.
Or your tight row jeans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you don't want to. I don't know what it is. It's just a certain characteristic that certain people have.
Yeah.
That don't want to be. I don't know if you call it a show off, because I don't consider myself wanting to be a show off. I just wanted what other people had.
That was
the end thing. But if Mary Carl knew that everybody was wearing a Coca-Cola shirt, she would wear the opposite.
Yeah, she would. She'd have a Pepsi.
She'd wear a Pepsi shirt just because she don't want to be like the rest. But anyway, where I was going with the TJ Maxx is, so she had to try on a couple of things, and I was browsing right outside the dressing room at the dog costumes, Halloween dog costumes.
Uh-huh.
And they had one that would have been perfect for one of our dogs. It said, "I'd rather be at TJ Maxx."
Oh my gracious.
Is that not perfect?
That is perfect.
And then I started thinking, not one of my dogs has ever been to TJ Maxx, so that really doesn't apply. But I could wear it. I'd rather be at TJ Maxx.
Oh man,
I love that store.
Yep,
I love that store. And one of the reasons it might appeal to us is because there's not a whole lot of order in there. I know
it's almost like a thrift store.
I know they do their best to keep it orderly, but it's not a lot of order. You have to search.
It's almost like a thrift store.
So we enjoy searching,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that's why we enjoy the TJ Maxx store.
Yep, that's probably it.
But she found what she needed, and and I found a couple of things for her afterwards, and I said, "This is cute. Do you want to try it on?" No, just get it. If it don't work, we'll bring it back. I said, gracious goodness.
Oh,
She's set in her ways. She knows what she wants and what she doesn't want.
Michael Key want to know if we remember them Browning jackets.
Oh, yes, sir.
I wish I had one.
I wish I had one too.
I wish I had one. I will do they. I'm sure they probably still make that jacket.
Yes.
Which is a goose down jacket made by Browning. Oh,
and you know, the only place you could buy them in Selma was at Walter Craig, which was a sporting headquarters superstore in Selma,
like
Alabama.
Outdoor store. Yep.
And
remember the Browning jacket?
That was the only time I ever went in Walter Craig before I worked there, was to get a Browning jacket.
Only thing about them Browning jackets, though, if you rode up against something,
it was gonna make a hole in it.
It's gonna make a hole in it,
and a little feather was gonna stick out.
That you know it when somebody go get the duct tape to try to match the color of their jacket and patch it up, because them jackets were expensive, and you know your mom and daddy's wasn't gonna buy you another one.
You know that oh goodness, what was I thinking? Oh, back then it seemed like we needed a Browning jacket all winter, which was a goose down jacket. You probably couldn't count on one hand now the times that you'd need a Browning jacket for the winter.
I remember wearing the Browning jacket to the fair in October.
Yes.
And to the football games in October.
And now to the fair, you might be wearing shorts.
You would be wearing shorts. The last times we took Mary Carl to the fair, we had shorts on.
I don't know. I just remember always wearing a Browning jacket, and you know, the L.O. Bean boots. You wore them all winter.
Somebody said Umbros and surf style pullover jackets. I remember that too. So that reminds me.
Oh goodness, y'all.
So the first time I met Brooke at the beach, this was in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Back then there was nothing there.
In 1993.
It was the place where the old folks went. That's what us young folks would say. It was dead. The
person I went with, her parents had a house down there.
And I remember it was me and a buddy and you and two other friends, and we met up and we went to one of the stores down there.
It's called Surf Style.
And you bought a surf style pullover. I remember it to this day.
It was purple, but it changed colors when it hit the sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents had gave me some money for the trip. And Jason was thinking that he didn't know how I had the money to buy a surf style pullover. But what happened was, I was eating with her parents the whole time. I could save my money. I could buy something I wanted because I didn't have to buy my food. So I spent my money. But you know what? I don't think I ever wore that thing.
You never did.
I don't think I ever wore it. It was something that I had in my mind I wanted.
They were really popular.
Really popular, but I never wore it.
Really popular. I didn't have one either.
Well,
I didn't. I never had one. But I remember those.
I remember that like it was yesterday.
I had one pair of Umbros. That's what I had. They were black and white.
I had Umbros because I had to practice softball and I had to have something athletic to wear. But I had the Umbros.
Locomotion. I had one Locomotion shirt.
But I was an only child too, so
I had a brother.
Yeah, so you have to imagine that was.
I got an older brother who is 7 years older than I am.
I have no siblings.
No siblings.
No siblings.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that song, Maggie?
Yeah, Maggie May.
Maggie. I can't remember how it goes.
The Rod Stewart song?
The Rod Stewart song.
Yeah.
We heard it on the way home.
Uh-huh.
And I told Mary Carl, I think that's why Maggie, the Doberman, was named Maggie.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was.
Well, that's along the same lines of era we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's why I thought of that.
Somebody said that I bet they could see me in some parachute pants.
Parachute pants are back.
Y'all, I had 3 pair of parachute pants. I had a black pair, I had a gray pair, and I had a army green pair. And let me tell y'all, I probably wore them out.
I had 0 pair of parachute pants because I'd never danced a day in my life until I met Jason.
And I had one shirt that I wore in my parachute pants that I can only remember. It was a cut off muscle shirt, right? And it had it could have been Chinese, it could have been Japanese, but it had like one little symbol on it. like a letter. I don't know what it stood for, but it was
I hope
Japanese.
it was not anything bad.
I hope not either. It was gray, and that's what it matched all 3 pair of my parachute pants.
So the other night, we had to take McCraw to Walmart to get a pair of jeans because she didn't have a single pair that she could wear. And, that's just her. She wants Walmart blue jeans. So we go to Walmart and we have to, show her what we think would fit her versus what we think wouldn't fit her. Did you see all the parachute pants?
No.
On the tag, they all said parachute pants.
Really?
Yes. You know that aisle where you got those green ones from?
Oh, so those said
all of them said parachute pants.
Must have been because
they were gathered at the bottom.
It looked like parachute pants, but the reason why they were called parachute pants back in the day is because they were made out of the same material that make parachutes out of.
Well, they call these parachute pants, but I'm sure they're just remakes.
Yeah, because they were slick.
Well, these weren't slick, but they sure had a parachute tag on them. So I guess they've made a comeback.
Yeah, they're making everything makes a comeback.
Yeah,
it all circles back around. Like I wish I had that Browning jacket.
It does. It all circles back around.
Yep. I wish I had the Browning jacket.
There's a lot of things that I wish I had. Do you remember that Christmas tree that was about that tall?
The ceramic green one?
That we gave away when we sold Dixie Drive?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had that back.
Every time I go to the thrift store with Mary Carl, I'll look for one.
Well, we haven't been that long ago since we gave it away. Probably 2007. When Mama moved is when we got it. It stayed in the hall closet in the upper part of it.
Yep.
Gave it away because we couldn't keep everything.
Yeah, I'd have it out right now. I got our pumpkins out.
It got so hot though.
Yeah.
I can remember how hot that thing got.
Well, we've collected these pumpkins over the years, and one of them is one that my mom had, and somebody she knew made it for in ceramics, and that's the one that's got the light in it that I got hung down there.
I thought Trudy made that.
No, pumpkin. That's been forever. When I was a little kid, and Mom gave it to me, and it had a light in it, and the light would get hot even though it was. So when I pulled it out, I took the old light out and I put an LED in it.
Oh, so it can stay on.
It doesn't get hot.
And doesn't get hot.
It doesn't get hot. So.
Yeah, I guess when our parents clean out the attic and they want to keep everything. And we as children would say, get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
You think now, gosh, I wish I hadn't.
I know it.
Gosh, I wish I hadn't. A lot of things like that.
The biggest one that I always remember that I wished that never happened was when Daddy told me that Nanny threw out his baseball cards.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I got every single one of my baseball cards. Half our closet is baseball cards.
I can remember this, and this is just a little something that I think about where it went, and I know exactly where it went, but it was a vinyl zip-up bag, and it had a flannel blanket in it, and you kept it in your car. It went everywhere we went, and I can remember that blanket always being in that bag in the car. And then when it was no longer in the car, I guess we got heater in the car or something. We never carried it anymore. It stayed in the hall closet on Dixie Drive. It was lime green. Do you remember it?
I don't.
And inside that bag was a brown, it was hard blanket. It's probably wool.
Yeah.
I say flannel, but it was probably more wool. And when we sold that house, that was one of the things that parted. And I wish I had that blanket back.
I wish I had that blanket back.
I wish I had that blanket back. It was just a zip-up case. It was green vinyl with white trim around it and that brown hard blanket in the inside of it.
Benjamin, I think I said that right, says that he has unopened boxes of baseball cards. I would freak out.
Oh,
y'all,
my gracious.
Let me tell y'all, there's a person on Instagram, and I will get sucked into it every single time. It's an older gentleman, and he opens up on their
vintage.
Yes, they'll be from the 70s and early, the same era that I have baseball cards in when I first started collecting. I remember.
Where's it get them from?
You can buy them off eBay.
Oh.
And
Well,
they're
they're
never
reproduction?
no, they've never been open.
So Benjamin, you could sell yours on eBay.
And I'll get sucked in. Next thing I know, I done watched 40 of his videos because it's so nostalgic. It brings back so many memories. I remember when I first got into baseball cards, the building that caught on fire, the where the business
The
was.
shop.
I'd go there after school, and because we just spent so much time there. Well, right across the street almost was a gas station, which had been closed for years, but it was a gas station, and they had Topps baseball cards in there. So when I ever saved up money, I would walk across the street and go buy my baseball cards. And I won't ever forget, open one up, and there was a Dale Murphy card in there, and I could have jumped across the road. I was so happy I got Dale Murphy.
Was it when he was a superstar?
Oh yeah. This was probably, it's an early 80s Dale Murphy baseball card in there. And it's probably worth $3 or something because it's not a rookie card. But I remember being so happy. It was
important to you.
Oh, it's so important to me. And then I remember the next place, because they only had Topps. So if I wanted Fleer or Donruss, you go to Chris's. And I can still smell Chris's, that store. It was a local store we had in our mall called Chris's. And I don't know why that's called Chris's, because it was spelled Chris, but everybody called it Chris's. Remember?
Yeah.
And they had a small little baseball card. And so when I saved up Coke bottles, I'd save Coke bottles. And my allowance or whatever, Mom would take me to Chris's
to get baseball
cards. And I still got them.
Wow.
I still got them.
Well, aren't you glad?
I am glad. Now, Mary Carl don't care nothing about them, but maybe one day.
Yeah, I can remember us taking all of our old cassette tapes and saying, what are we ever going to do with these things?
Cassette tapes.
And we threw them in a dumpster somewhere because we had no use for them. We did the same thing with our CDs.
Recently.
Got
rid of all of our CDs. Y'all, we had piles.
I can remember telling Jason, are you sure you want to get rid of these? What are we ever going to do? We don't
even have a player in here. We don't have a DVD player anymore.
But that's what happens.
That's exactly what happens.
Is your mind says, we don't have a CD player.
Yep.
And you throw them out. And we threw out every single CD that we had ever bought.
Yep.
And it was a lot.
It was a lot.
I
missed who said it, but they said that their English teacher was a photographer for Topps. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty awesome. Y'all, that to this day, the most memorable card that I ever remember was a Glenn Hubbard card, who was my favorite player. Played second base for Atlanta Braves. I love Glenn Hubbard. And he had a baseball card with a python around him.
I don't remember that.
Oh, man.
I don't remember that.
He was so popular. Loved it.
What was it? He had like multiple pictures, but he had one that had a python.
One baseball card.
So when I was younger, probably during the era that you're talking about.
I told you. I thought we could find it easily. It was Fleer. It's on sale on eBay.
How much is it?
$30.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Let me pull this up here. Oh, Glenn Hubbard. Got the old Braves emblem too. Go ahead.
You were going to show that picture.
I know.
I get messed up.
Oh, here it is. Glenn Hubbard. I don't know what year that was. I should have looked. See the python around his neck?
I just do not remember ever seeing that card.
Oh, man. I don't know how many cards they had. I don't know. It's a lot. It is a lot. And I used to have the albums, and I had them categorized in teams. Yeah. I still got them. They're all in there.
I had a sticker book.
I had sticker book.
Well, I mean, I had baseball cards too, but not to that extent.
1984.
1984.
That was that card.
Huh. So I would have been 8 then, and you would have been 9. So I'm trying to figure out in relation. My mama went to work at a florist, and it was called the Flower Basket, and it was in Selma. So she was a floral designer, and next door to the florist, I had to go with her and stay there all day because I wasn't old enough to stay by myself. So I stayed down at the flower shop and at one point they told me they'd pay me 25 cents for every pot I made. And what it was was a terracotta pot. I had to hot glue a piece of foil in the bottom of it, go out in the back of the property, take some pea gravel, fill the pot with pea gravel, cut a piece of styrofoam, hot glue it in there, and then take a piece of foil and put it over the top so the floral flowers could stick in there. I got paid 25 cents per pot. I don't remember.
Oh, wow.
I was probably about 12 years old at that time, but I made a lot of pots because I earned my money. I earned.
That's right. You earned it. You earned it and earned it.
I earned it and earned it. I would get my mama's clothing iron.
Yeah.
Iron, IRON.
Crisp.
And make sure all my money was pristine because I saved it all.
Mm-hmm.
So $0.25 per pot. Well, with some of those quarters, there was a gas station next door.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got up, some quarters saved, I would go next door. Mama would let me walk next door because during this time, things aren't like they are today.
Yeah.
You could do that and not be afraid.
That's right.
They had a pinball machine. And man, let me tell y'all, I wonder if I could still do it. I could beat any grown man at that pinball.
You was a pinball wizard?
I was a pinball wizard. So my score was always the highest. Snyder.
Plays a
but every now and then there would be somebody come in and they would win. They would beat my high score.
Oh, goodness.
And I'd have to take my flower pot money and play until I was back on the top of the board. I couldn't handle losing.
Oh, goodness.
And I kind of feel like that today. I don't
that's
like
so funny.
To lose. I like to win. And I guess that's a good and bad characteristic.
I forgot that your high scores in the arcades. I totally forgot about that.
Yes, if that man came in there and he beat my high score, I'd spend every quarter I had until I was back on top of that pinball game. And I don't remember what the pinball game was called. But I wonder if
most of them had like a theme.
Yeah, but I don't remember what it was.
You know what it's called?
I bet you I could knock your socks off that pinball game today. Because I played it so much. I mean, I was good.
G&G said, I got comic books too. I got comic books too. I saw people say vinyl records. I got vinyl records. That's probably the first thing I look for now when we go thrifting.
We got rid of my mama's vinyl records.
Nope, I got them. I got them.
I thought they were all warped.
That's where I got Led Zeppelin and Bob Dylan and.
So something I can be happy about.
I got them.
That we didn't get rid of.
I got them. I got all those. I do. Amongst my other collection of vinyl. That's the first thing. Usually when we go to the Goodwill, I go to the record section and start looking. You can get them cheap. But $1.
I often think about things that we're talking about that we got rid of, that we feel like we should have saved. But think about this. Think about if the Dixie Drive house, which is where I grew up, still had all my grandmother's things in it, on top of my parents' things.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay. Say my mom and daddy still lived there and they passed away and they passed that house down to me. Think of how much stuff I would have to go through and make a decision about. So maybe it is best that we part with some things and we don't hold on to every single thing that we see of importance.
I just say hold on to the stuff you like.
But I like everything, Jason. I mean, how many times have I been told I need to get rid of those Beanie Babies? But I like them. And I don't want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
Yeah, you still got your Beanie Babies. Forget about that.
I still got my Beanie Babies.
Yeah. I still got my baseball cars, and we got Hot Wheel cars, too. We still kept the Hot Wheels.
And then there's Mary Carl, who has these little things called Digibirds that she collected when she was little. Here we are on birds.
Digibirds and
the National Geographic birds.
Audubon Association birds. Got those.
Yeah. She and I'm glad that we saved all of those. Yep. I really am, because there's nothing else that she wanted.
That's what she wanted to keep.
I still got my Cabbage Patch dolls.
Yeah, you still got those.
Still got those, but
somebody asked about VHS. I'll tell y'all, me and Mary Carl come this close when we went to the thrift store to buy a VCR and get us some VHS tapes and movies we could watch. This close.
Do I still have that VHS tape of me playing softball?
Yeah, we do. We still got those.
It's a box of stuff that says Brooks softball.
But yeah, this close.
Wow.
This close, because we thought it was cool. Of course, she loves anything vintage.
Yeah.
And that's considered vintage now. And yeah, so we were this close. So we don't have any more of that. I remember a friend of mine, and I can see it to this day. I went to his house. It was his name was Alan, was my buddy, and his dad recorded. And we record some, but he was obsessed with it. And when you walked in their living room or their den, family room, he had shelving everywhere, and from floor up was like a library, and it was VHS tapes.
Because he would record it for somebody else?
No, movies. So if we wanted to watch a movie, he had it.
Oh.
You know, if you wanted to watch Rambo First Blood, he'd go over there and find it, pull it, and put it in there. And
who was it that used to make all those VHS tapes that my daddy would get? Mike?
I think so, because he worked at a VCR store. He worked at a rental or local.
And he would make a copy of it and give it to my daddy.
He would.
So my daddy didn't rent it.
Yeah, Mike worked at a.
Mike has since passed, so you can't arrest him.
That's right, a movie rental store. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and because Daddy always had the tape of whatever the newest movie was.
Oh goodness!
A copy of it.
There you go.
And he'd let people borrow it. You know.
With the FBI warning right there at the beginning.
That's right. That's right. It is unlawful to make a copy of this. Oh
goodness
gracious alive.
Oh my gracious.
The things we did. But I couldn't have done it because I didn't know how to do it. Make a copy of one tape from another.
I used to edit all the time. I'd make sports videos and put them to
I'm
music.
telling you, if my daddy was alive today and could see what you can do with your editing.
Oh yeah.
It would be on, because he'd have his own YouTube channel. I don't know what he'd be doing.
I don't know what he'd be doing.
Hopefully not embalming bodies on the YouTube. But he'd be doing something.
Her
probably
dad,
fishing.
Brooke's dad was a funeral director.
Yeah, so.
For those that don't know.
Well, he didn't just go out and embalm random
people.
people.
Goodness.
They had a reason to be that way.
That's right.
I don't know what his channel would be, but it would be something. Because he couldn't stand the fact that Jason could edit better than he could.
he definitely would think it was cool. I can tell you that.
And be telling all his friends about it.
Oh man, everybody would know it.
You wouldn't believe how good Jason is.
And like we don't like to say, "Oh, we got a YouTube channel."
He'd be telling everybody.
Everybody would know it.
Everybody would know it. He'd have a banner at the funeral home telling them about the YouTube channel.
Yep. It would.
It's just how it would be.
Mm-hmm.
Just how it would be. Well, I don't have to cook tonight.
That's right, because you brought leftovers from the Olive Garden.
So when you eat at the Olive Garden, you have the option to purchase one of 3 meals for a take-home dinner of just the whopping price of $6.
That's unreal.
And you can't buy anything for $6 this day and time. We didn't bring the bread home.
You left the bread.
I left the bread.
It's okay. I didn't need it anyways.
But Mary Carl does. She brought her leftovers home.
G&G is frying chicken. We just talked about this.
We sure did.
Just talked about
this.
And
I know she's using a cast iron skillet.
I know she's using. I got to get over and get the cast iron skillet Tony has gifted me.
Well, they're gonna potentially ride with us Friday night.
Okay.
To the dinner before the Pedals event, and maybe we can
pick it up.
Pop it in the car then.
There we go.
I'm ashamed to say we haven't been over there before now.
And Zoe's baking cookies, so we ought to just go to
G&G first.
G&G first, and we can swing back around and catch Chestnut Hill and get dessert.
Yeah,
we can do.
Speaking of dessert, before we go off the air, the air, radio host or something. We went to town one day this week. And, it was to get those boards that I almost ran over you with.
Yeah.
Take them back to the barn. Mary Carl went with me, and I said, is there anything you want? She said, I would love to have some ice cream. I said, okay. Well, we've told y'all before we have Durbin's Farms that's right off the interstate. And then we have a place called Peach Park right off the interstate. Well, it's kind of dying down now that it's after Labor Day.
Yeah,
Not so many people are visiting. So when she said she wanted the ice cream, I, said, "Where from?" She said, "Durbin's. I want a cream cheese ice cream cone.
Mm-hmm.
Cream cheese ice cream. Have y'all ever had cream cheese ice cream?"
It's good.
So
So
the
good.
last time that I went to go get her the cream cheese ice cream, they were out of it, and I had to get her peach. She was okay with that. But I must confess, I have a lot of willpower because I go in and I get her ice cream cone, and all I did was take a lick off of it.
Really?
So
Didn't get you one?
No.
Well, good.
I took a lick off of it and forgot how good that cream cheese ice cream was. So much so that I reached out to Catherine and I asked her, had she ever had cream cheese ice cream? And she said she had not.
Oh.
So,
it's good.
I just forgot about how good it was. I wish I had eaten a whole cone of it, although my waistline does not wish and my health conditions do not wish. But it made me think about it, how good it was. So good. Try that cream cheese ice cream.
I saw somebody said they're having crepes in maple. I'm going to say it, syrup.
Syrup.
I mean, not syrup. We call it syrup here. Maple syrup. Oh goodness, it's all kind of stuff coming up.
All kind of stuff. But
Beef stroganoff. You're off tonight. So, what are you guys having for supper tonight?
Jason's having 5 cheese ziti.
I am.
He had a choice between fettuccine Alfredo,
Mm-hmm.
spaghetti with meat sauce, or 5 cheese ziti. And Mary Carl chose for you. She chose the 5 cheese
Did
ziti.
she? Chose for me.
Yep.
Hot dogs and onion rings. I could eat that.
I could eat that too.
I could eat that. Leftover pizza. I could do that.
I think I could eat anything.
Chicken casserole, yes. Pizza rolls, yes. Tacos, absolutely.
Taco Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Taco
Burgers,
Tuesday.
slaw, and mac and cheese. Mm-hmm.
It all sounds good.
Doesn't it sound good?
Are you hungry, by the way?
I'm getting hungry now. Crab bowl. I saw that. Boiled quail eggs.
Do you know what I saw advertised?
What?
Captain D's has a lobster roll. They sure do. Captain D's has a lobster roll.
Oh, man.
Speaking of that,
Greek bowl.
I don't think it could be as good as what I had in Maine.
1000% correct.
But it is kind of ironic that I talked about that and now they're offering it.
Meatloaf and baked potatoes. I like meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
Yes, you do.
Leftover goulash.
So Jason's gonna read all y'all's supper menu all night instead of editing tomorrow's video.
I'm almost through with it.
You're almost through.
Yep.
Okay, good deal.
Yep, almost through with it. What grade is Mary Carl in this year?
She's in ninth.
Ninth.
The girl at the orthodontics said, "Are you in high school?" And Mary Carl said, "I don't know what grade high school starts, but I'm in ninth."
Oh.
So, it's different some places.
It is
They
different.
Consider high school.
What do you got? Junior high.
10th, 11th, and 12th.
And then.
Or 11th and 12th, or
That's
9th
right.
and 10th junior high. So, it was a legit answer.
Mm-hmm. Legit answer. Leftover goulash. I had cheese grits for lunch.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, that's sad, Jason.
Oh, they're so good though. I can eat them every day.
Well, we saved them last night from our breakfast dinner. And next thing I know is Jason was eating something different for breakfast this morning. And I thought, those grits are going to go to waste. I wonder if you could freeze dry grits.
I don't know.
There's only one way to find out.
There's one way to find out.
We can have grits every day. Cheese grits, freeze dried.
Oh, goodness.
I've never thought of that. I've never seen anybody that's tried to.
Yeah.
I don't know why you couldn't.
I don't know why you couldn't either.
You just have to know the perfect ratio to reconstitute them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know that grits in its freeze-dried state would be very good. Kind of be like a rice cake, probably.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Crunchy and probably not very good in the freeze-dried state. All right. Holly said it's time to go.
Let me in.
She's outside barking and carrying on. So y'all remember, no live on Saturday.
That's right.
We will be at the Petals from the Past event that is still going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hurricane ain't going to stop us. And if anything were to change, we'll of course notify everybody.
Yep.
But just kind of check the weather before you make the trip and know what you're headed into. Because if
right.
the path were to shift, I mean, who knows?
That's
But right now, all is going as planned.
All right.
Nathan, video tomorrow.
Video will be out tomorrow.
Video out tomorrow.
And see y'all. See some of y'all on Saturday.
That's right.
Y'all be good.